notice of a joint public meeting of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville and Brownsville Community Improvement Corporations pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act. Notice is hereby given that the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, in accordance with Article 5, Section 12 of the Charter of said city, will convene a joint meeting with the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation at 5 p.m. and convene with an executive session and a regular meeting on Tuesday, November 14, 2017, at 5:30 p.m. and at 6 p.m. in the Commission Chambers on the second floor of the Brownsville City Hall Old Federal Building located at 1001 East Elizabeth Street, Brownsville, Cameron County, Texas. I need a motion from BCIC, first and a second, so we can have the joint meeting.
Anissa Ramirez?
Okay.
And Felicia Fruya, and I will second.
Okay. I'll need a motion from City Commission.
To accept?
We may begin. Item number 1 is presentation and discussion on the direction of the Brownsville Sports Park.
Okay, now, Priscilla, do they begin the conversation?
Yes, they're
Okay.
gonna have
Well,
the,
Tino, before you all do, I wanted to personally, and on behalf of the commission, thank you for your service, okay, guys? You know, without what you guys do, and all the staff members and everybody, whatever y'all do and all your staff, the city can't work without you, okay? And people don't actually thank you enough, and people don't really appreciate all the time and effort that you put into these things. Tino was at PUB last night, and so he goes from one thing to the next, and a lot of you doing the same. Some of you are helping us with the search for a city manager. So from a heartfelt thanks, because it takes a lot of time. And this guy I took with me last week, and he's going like, this takes a lot of time. But it does. But it's well worth it because it's all for your city. It belongs to you. So thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Commissioners, for having us here. My name is Tino Villarreal, and I'm the Chair of the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation. I apologize for being in my shorts and my gear, but I left practice with my broken foot to get here to present because I think this is very important. And we're in the playoffs, as you know. That's my livelihood. That's what I do. That's very important to me, but this is just as important. Our city's just as important. And we wanted to talk about moving forward with this Brownsville Sports Park. That there's been a lot of different perceptions or different things heard around town throughout the years about how the sports park is managed, operated, the pros, the cons, all of the above, and we want to take a chance today to kind of talk to you about the sports park because this is kind of what takes up a lot of our time and a lot of our meetings. We are an economic development type B corporation, and we don't forget that. You know, we're not a sporting entity. We're here to stir the economy for the city of Brownsville, and we're a type B corporation. We have a very specific niche, and all of us and board members that are here, and I thank you all for being here as well, we're very, very, very familiar with what our niche is. Our vision is to promote and fund assets in sports and recreational tourism, small business diversity in Brownsville, and for it to become a destination city in business development and our historic preservation and tourism. And so that's the mission of BCIC. We created a strategic plan this year. This is my first year as chair, and the first thing that I thought we needed to do was to come up with a short-term plan so that we're all aiming kind of in the same spot. And we talked about some of our primary goals, and 5 and 6 happen to touch upon the sports park. As you can see here, we want to improve our asset management and protection and increase Brownsville's profile in sports and recreational tourism to become a destination city for sports and recreation. And that's just some of the strategic plan vision. We're not leaving out small business or downtown or a lot of other important things that are just as important, but this is our specific niche. And like I said, these are directly associated with moving us forward. Goal 5 is to protect our asset management. And you're about to see the figures of how much money BCIC has pumped in to the Brownsville Sports Park. And goal 6, obviously, we want to make sure that with the trails and ciclovias and all of the stuff, and Dr. Gowan and the commission and the mayor for, we're taking strides at transforming Brownsville. I know that a lot of people can look at Brownsville different ways, but Brownsville's a very beautiful, beautiful city. Sometimes it's seen in a negative light, but some of the things we do are so ahead of the curve of many cities and many major cities. And a lot of that has to do with being active and the trails and the community with just being here at the farmer's market and how many people gather there over the weekend. So there's a certain culture being built, and we want to take advantage and capitalize on that and use that as kind of a hook to bring people to Brownsville to experience that type of living as well. It's always nice when you tour and you go play sports. Unfortunately, Brownsville citizens go take their kids to play sports elsewhere, and we don't really host too many things. I live in that. I'm an athletic director, and I know that most little kids, friends that have little kids, they'll take them to play soccer in McAllen in the weekend. And if they really want them to get good, they'll even join club teams in Houston, San Antonio, Corpus Christi, and they'll take their teams from Brownsville to compete all the time. And guess what? Those are dollars of Brownsville being spent elsewhere, and not really that many opportunities of bringing people to spend their dollars here with us and see our beautiful community and shop and dine in our beautiful community. We allocate some serious money to the sports park. Since 2008, if you see the bold part, we've allocated a total of $5.6 million, an average of over $500,000, $563,000 annually. Last year alone, we allocated $750,000 to support the maintenance and operation, and additional $550,000 for capital improvement. That's $1.3 million in 1 year. I mean, that was a serious investment, but that was investment much needed for our kids who also play at the park. And that turf, because it's so hot down here, synthetic turfs only have a certain shelf life, and the sun and the UV rays, that fake grass starts to fall apart, and you leave with it in your socks, and you leave with it in your sweaty legs, and that's supposed to be out there for safety purposes. And so when we looked at the capital improvements that were requested by Brownsville Sports Park staff and the Parks Director, Damaris McGlone, and that was one of the big ticket items on there, and we were able to do that for them last year. Brownsville Sports Park description and vision. If you all haven't been out there and you really don't know too much about the actual park, it features 5 softball fields, 10 multi-purpose athletic fields, 5,000 seats, all-weather field turf that's out there with dressing rooms. A lot of people have been in those dressing rooms. They're top-notch. I mean, they're first class. We have the safe room dome, volleyball courts, BMX track, skate parks, walking and jogging trails, pavilions, parking lots, outdoor courts, 2 lakes, a playground area, and exercise equipment. The things you see in red, those are revenue generating, and that gives us an ability to attract people and bring in some money. Some of our citizens use it as well, but this is kind of the things that we want to make sure that we're highlighting to bring other people to the park. This is the original layout. If you see the original layout, you'll see this, the softball fields, they're right in the center, okay? And I think, does this work?
Yes.
So, yeah, so you see this right here? That is real. That's where the softball fields are. We were going to put in baseball fields right here in this area. That right now is just grass and dirt now, but there's nothing built there, and the dome took place of these Little League fields right here. So the Little League fields aren't there, but the dome is there, the FEMA dome, and so when you look at the site layout and you look at it now, like I said, I highlighted there. That's what you really see. Here, this is not in the current site. This is still blank, but you can see that in here would be the dome in that area right there. And if you look back over here, you see how many basketball courts we really wanted here. Okay, well, we really only have those 3. So, I mean, there was a big master plan for this, and $38 million went into this to build it. Most of it's underground, and like I said, there's a lot of feelings and perceptions on how that was done. But this is the park we have. This is what we have right now. This is an asset that we have. This is what the new turf looks like if you haven't been out there. We were able to put a full football field, which before it was not regulation, so we couldn't rent it out if we wanted to rent it out for football games. And to bring different types of that type of activity to Brownsville and start marketing our sports park as a destination for playoff games or exhibition games. Now we have the ability to do that. Before the turf, it didn't have all the field markers for football permanently stitched in there. Now they do. You'll see the yellow lines, those are the soccer lines. And obviously soccer is a really big sport for us here. But that's how it looks right now. You get to see the difference in the turf right there. That's the old turf, and that's the new turf. And it just looks so much better. You see all the black. That's all the rubber pellets, and so kids were really playing on rubber, and that's not that safe for them. Current scoreboard. In our $550,000 allocation last year, we talked about adding a new scoreboard. That phase, we haven't done that yet, but that's what the current one looks like. And as you can see, it definitely needs an upgrade. And so we're right now working on that. So here's what it is. Construction cost of the sports park is $5.4 million. Maintenance and operations to date, we've pumped in $5.6 million. Our investment is $41 million, and that's how much money has gone into this project. I mean, that's a pretty big amount. You all as commissioners will probably know. I don't know. I would venture to say this is probably one of the most expensive projects that we have here in the city, and so we've collected 1.97 million, just shy under 2 in revenue. So we've built this real big deal, and we really haven't done much to recover. And that stuff isn't about a business deal. It's about how many how many people have we brought in, right? And that's really the question here today. So here's our annual budget. As you can see, we have so much of our annual budget that goes to fund we're paying the bonds and the maintenance and operations, and so 58% of our budget, $2.6 million, right over it, goes to the sports park every single year. So when we did our plan, when we did our strategic plan, we said, well, what's the biggest asset? Well, we've pumped in $41 million. I think the sports park's our biggest asset. We continue to pump in over 58% of our budget for maintenance and operations, $2.6 million, and it takes 1.3 to run this park every year, okay? So when this plan was done, a business plan, a 5-year, 10-year performance, they were saying that total revenue that we should be getting from that, if you see here, $742,000. If our operating expense is about a 1.2 million. Currently, well, that's not where we are, and we don't want to negatively show. But so you all know, we meet with Damaris McGlone and Ray Arellanos all the time. Like we're not trying to show that they haven't done their job. It's just the phenomenon of the park was so far behind, right, that we have a 1.2 million, 1.3 million expense budget, but yet we're only bringing in about half, not even half of that, about $318,000 a year at the sports park. The attendance of the sports park has increased, as you can see, but if 600,000 people have been there, and we're only making $300,000, well, what's it going to take to bring in, 2 million people? And so that's kind of where we are, right? Like, what's it gonna take for Brownsville to be a destination choice city, to bring teams and things to the park? So we utilize it, because it's a big expense and a monster out there. If we continue on this path, by 2027, our sports park, the bonds are gonna mature. We're gonna pay them off. We would have invested over 50 million sales tax dollars in infrastructures and day-to-day operations. BCSC at that point, what the agreement is, the park is the city's, and for the city to do whatever it wants and deems to do. But what we're looking at right now is the progress is not as rapid as we'd like for it to be. And I'm here to tell you, the mayor and the commissioners, that it's our projection that you're going to inherit another expense line item in your budget of over $1 million. And that's kind of the projection of what's going to happen with this sports park, is you're going to inherit something and or continue to ask BCSE to pump in 58% of its budget and never move on to other projects that are quality of life, that really have been put on the back burner for this city. And so what does it need? Well, we need to make an economic impact now by attracting more sports, alleviate challenges, to alleviate challenges that exist. That's a big deal, the number two thing. There are some challenges also that we think that the growth is staggering because of some challenges that I think that exist currently. Manage and operate the Brownsville Sports Park as a revenue generating park, right? I think that's what the Brownsville Sports Park needs, so that we can see it as an asset and something that we can utilize, and instead of just this monstrous expensive park that's just there. Provide transparency and accountability to Brownsville City Commission and constituents, so that everyone knows exactly what this park is built for and what it can do for this city. Develop business and sports-oriented marketing strategies to align the Brownsville Sports Park into the adopted active transportation plan. Create opportunities for new revenue sources. Give some naming rights to the park, branding, and with a new scoreboard. Have sponsorships for things. Adopt and implement Brownsville Sports Park strategic plan and update the current master plan, so that we really know, well, what are we going to continue doing? Are we going to build that little league or the baseball fields? Should we? Will that bring more revenue, or will it not? Consider the restructuring, revision of the city's organizational chart, so that Brownsville Sports Park is no longer, I don't know what that word is, but basically operated as a city department. So it is operated. There we go. So what are the options, guys, and commissioners and mayors? The options that we want are on the table, and if it remains the same, we call this joint thing. If we remain in the same maintenance and operation, then we do, and that's something that at least you're informed to know that. Well, we can just go to bed every night and pray that more people are going to just show up, right? And that we're not going to hand over a debt to you all in 10 years, right? And to the city and to our taxpayers. If we turn over the asset now and continue paying the debt services but have no obligations to provide funding for the maintenance and operation, which means, if the city wants it now, great. We'd love to alleviate the 58% of our budget, and so we can start working on other things. If that's a direction that you all would want for this park. BCSE takes over the management and operations of this. That's not exactly what we want, but that's an option on the table. BCSE privatizes the management and operation by hiring a sports facility management firm. That's an option, right? We can try to look at other entities that do this around the state and see if they can come in and what they can do for bringing more people into this park. Or E is what we're here to recommend to you, is that BCSE manages and the city of Brownsville operates, a collaboration effort. but the two entities work proactively and have a consistent approach to maximizing the economic opportunity and well-being of the Brownsville Sports Park. And so the reason that I tell you all that today is there's just a lot of challenges. You guys are a big city, and I'll give you a real specific example. It's not embarrassing. I'm glad that there's not, 1,000 people here, but sometimes there's people that go to the park and they'll complain that there's no toilet paper in the restrooms. And sometimes, honestly, that just gets tied up in a purchase order. Something as simple as toilet paper can get tied up in a purchase order, and that's nobody's fault. But it becomes a reality, and some people go to the park and go, well, that place is and that's not fair, because the staff at BSP does a great job, right? And I think that Damaris McGlone does a great job at looking over that department and what they do. They work really hard to do that. But sometimes there are some hiccups, and I'm here to propose a creative solution if you all would listen and really kind of take that in. I think that there's a lot that we can do with this monster asset, $41 million that's been pumped into it, and it's kind of sitting there right now. So that's our recommendation. We've suggested to you that if you accept that you allow us to create a committee with Damaris McGlone, the Parks and Rec Director, Ray Arellano, the Superintendent of the Park, that we get Public Works, MIS, and HR staff members, a representative from them, 1 or 2 city commissioners, 2 board members, our executive director, and our BCIC staff member, Corey Pena, and that we kind of paint out a picture of what would that look like if BCIC were to manage and the city were to operate 2, 3 years, 5-year plan, something that would allow us to take a real good shot at how can we help really amp up the attraction and the hook of bringing things to our park, and really putting in, if all our money's going in, right, like if all our money's already going in, 58% of it, we'd love to be involved in trying to say, let's bring more people, let's really dive into this instead of just writing and cutting a check and turning a blind eye to what's currently happening at the Brownsville Sports Park. So that's really the options that we have. I'd love to answer a lot of questions that you may have for us.
Tino, I want to be the first one to utter thank you, in the sense that I like your presentation. It's well thought out. And what I tell people all the time is sort of like that toilet paper issue. If you bring me a problem, bring me a solution with it. You have brought me a problem, and you brought me a solution, which I think is the proper way to go about operating an organization such as a city or your situation. I personally think that accepting that challenge to be proactive is probably the best way to go about it. One of the things I think the commissioner and I, when we were talking about, we have to do the Metropolitan Planning Organization, and one of the issues that we're dealing with is control versus monies. And you really have to do the great balancing act that Dr. Seuss talks about in all of his children's books. I'd like to see that particular solution attempted in the sense that it allows the city and the BCIC to work together, which I think is a wonderful idea. The second thing is you've got the right attitude in the sense of we're understanding, hopefully, that we had a little bit to do with it, that we want to be a progressive city. If you could turn around and, someone offered you $42 million tomorrow for that thing, you'd have to think about it seriously. But nobody's going to do that. So
Yeah, most of that money is underground, unfortunately.
yeah, and so what happens is, if you look at your asset, it is what it is.
Correct.
And now you have to figure out, how do you optimize it? That's really what our task is and our challenge is. So my sense of, knowing what I know after 7.5 years as mayor, is that this ought to be a really great attempt by both parties to try to figure out, because what happens is a business plan, as well as, my suggestion is, look at a sports authority of how they handle those kind of things, because, as much as people say, well, we can't afford to bring X person here or X person there. Sometimes that money is better spent on that X person than it is trying to find an answer somewhere that we have no experience with. So I'm all for it.
I want to thank you for an excellent presentation. It is a very complex issue, and I can tell you that from being in your spot for 4 years. And I thank you for continuing the work that my board began to get to this point, because it is almost an act of, I don't know, a huge monumental task to start to digest all of that. And thank you, Rebecca, because you know what I'm talking about from before this time. I wholeheartedly support what you're suggesting. I'm glad you talked about branding. I'm glad that you talked about connection with the city's bike trails. It's very unfortunate that whoever planned this thing did not, you can only get there in a car. You can't get there on a bike. You can't jog there. You can't even take a bus there. So I'm glad to hear that you're thinking of that. Last week, I was in Florida at the National Bicycle Tourism Conference, and I learned a few things that I think are very useful. 11 states now have a adventure sports portion of their division of the state tourism department, but Texas is not one. I met the one that's in charge of Nebraska. I met the one that was in charge of, I forget the other state, Colorado. And I think that as a city, we need to encourage our representatives to advocate for Texas to have an adventure tourism CVB in Austin that will advocate and help us to promote adventure tourism. I also learned that there will be 100 million millennials in 2020, and they all want an authentic experience.
Exactly.
There's no reason why the sports park cannot contribute to the authentic experience that Brownsville offers. But it's our job to get that message out and to create the story. I spoke there about the active plan, and as I was leaving, people were literally stuffing their cards in my purse because they wanted to be a part of what we were trying to do. And the sports park in BCIC can play an enormous role there. And finally, it's very hard to completely understand the economic impact of the sports park, because let's say I bring my kids there for a tournament, but I had such a great experience that next year I'm going to come to the Jazz Fest. You can't capture those dollars, but you really did have an impact in that future earned revenue.
Exactly.
And so I don't know how to solve that question, and we asked the experts the last time we did this, and they didn't have great complete answers for us. But I think that should be part of the mix, is how do you get those metrics to, is it surveying at hotels? I don't know.
Yeah.
But
There's a lot of opportunity. I think that we've even discussed something as simple as currently the Brownsville Sports Park operates its own concession stand. But I also think it's an opportunity to highlight, especially our local vendors that own restaurants and businesses, to also provide some of their, like if someone wants to sell coffee, right, and that you rotate different people from coffee, for example, or whatnot, pizzerias, different people, and you give everyone access who's willing to participate and wants to promote Brownsville, because that's the hook to make them drive the extra 3 miles into town. They go, hey, this pizza's really good. Where's this from? Well, it's from down the street, and they can drive those extra 3 miles to see our downtown and to see Brownsville and to stay at our hotels, because I know that the destination when you think of playing at the sports park is still staying at South Padre Island. And I think that we have to show who we are as Brownsville within the park itself, so that we drag those extra 3 miles and sleep at our hotels and dine at our restaurants and shop at our stores.
So thank you. You have my support, and I'm so glad that you're thinking outside of the box, because it's not really a one-dimensional thing. It's really very three-dimensional.
Okay. I would just try to distinguish between trying to get a handle on what's already there
Yes, sir.
and also with expanding into new areas. And I would also think that we should consider the if we're going to form a committee and put work into this, that we ought to also explore C, D, as well as E. In other words, just
Okay.
look at all, not just
all.
the one, so that we might have a better picture. And then I'm going to throw this out there too. We know, based on what you've just told us, that we have issues with the sports park, but I think we also have issues with the golf course, which I'm not sure about, but we could find out, and also maybe the tennis court out there at the event center. And if we're going to explore some solution to make this like a sports tourism and all that, that
Sure.
we should include those things as well, and try to get a handle on all of it. Well, if we're going to do the work, we might as well expand that a little bit. So I would just throw that out on the table.
Thank you.
If I may, I'm going to bootstrap off of Judge Nice's comment, and I think in the direction, any direction you take, I am fully behind BCIC and especially you guys managing the park. But I also think it's important what Judge Nice just mentioned. We have the tennis courts and we have a golf course. And if we're going to bring a private management firm, well, maybe they can manage all three. And that when we talk about sporting events, we're not just talking about soccer and football. We're also talking about tennis, maybe a little league fields out there, the golf course. So aside from that, 100% behind BCIC. You guys do an amazing job. Thank you. I know how much time it takes to be a volunteer. It takes long hours, a lot of headaches. And so I want to thank you for everything you guys have been doing. And you have our 100% support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tino.
Thank you.
Hey, Tino, congratulations. That presentation was great. It came a long way from the first one that we saw there
Well,
at that
thank
BCIC.
you, because
So,
we first pitched it to Commissioner Munguia, and I want to thank you, because he said, yeah, I have a lot of questions. So answering those ahead of time, so thank you,
But no,
Commissioner,
but
for
I
that.
think good things can happen when people work together, and I think this is a monumental project that whether the city can do it by themselves or BCIC, I think it'll be a lot easier, smoother, and more successful. I think when we work together, and I know a lot of good things are going to be coming up with the discussions that will be held
Sure.
during those committees. So congratulations on that, and definitely support it wholeheartedly.
Well, thank you all so much for your time.
You know, I forgot to compliment you as well, and I appreciate your time too.
No, thank you, Commissioner, and thank you all very much. I'm gonna pass the microphone to our Executive Director. I'm running back to my last 30 minutes of practice. We have a playoff game. Yeah, I can't run.
Oh, yeah,
But
and
you know what I mean. Thank you all for your time.
Congratulations on your win, and good luck on your next game. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, it's Saturday, 11 a.m. at St. Joe. We play Plano, John Paul II, so we're looking forward to it. But I've got, 50 kids right now, kind of wondering where Coach is,
Well,
because I
just-
told him, I'll be back in 20 minutes. So
No,
it's here in St. Joe.
And don't forget,
11 on
and
Saturday.
don't forget, we got our money riding on you, okay?
Thank you all very much. You keep thanking us for our time, but thank you for your time, and thank you all for everything you do for Brownsville. I think that this is just something, this whole project, and when we talk about it, it's how you all have managed to push certain agendas through our city that really, I'll never forget being at the event center to talk about when you had that Brownsville campaign, and then just all the work that you've done. Our city is beautiful, and you guys are doing a great job. And I just think that if other people just come and try it one time, right? That's all it takes. That's the hook to get them to always come back to Brownsville. It's a beautiful place. So thank you.
I just wanted to kind of reiterate from the standpoint of our strategic plan, when you mentioned about the golf course and the tennis courts, there's opportunities because when we're capturing sports tourism and recreational tourism, we're not going to only be looking at the sports park, but all the assets and resources that Brownsville has. So there's opportunities to capture and make everything better. And I guess in moving forward, I do want to applaud our leadership, our BCIC board members. I mean, we were here 2 years ago in a joint meeting, and we have made marvelous progress in moving forward the sports park and many of the other goals and objectives that we have for the sports park. And we thank you for your time.
Rebecca, my question to you is, how do we go from here? That's really, I think as in all things, there needs to be a leader. There needs to be someone who is chairing the effort and then kind of organizing it to move forward. And I see BCIC as the chair, okay? The city will be a supportive cast. So why don't you ask among your group as to who wishes to do this?
We do have a sports park committee committee that consists of Mr. Tino Villarreal, our chair, Eddie Galvan, our treasurer, and Commissioner Munguia. So I think from that standpoint, if we can continue having Mr. Tino Villarreal as chair of this committee, it'll be ideal, staff-wise and collaboratively with the committee. But we also have our liaison for the sports park, which is our grants and contracts administrator, Corey Peña. So she has been doing a great job. She has been with us several years already, and if someone knows mostly staff-wise about what's going on in the sports park, she's the person to go to.
Yeah, and so what I would suggest is I would like, you know, that one thing that is difficult for organizations sometimes is follow through. You know, we have a lot of great ideas, and I personally am very, very, very happy with the progress this city is making, and
Yes.
I'm loving all of you doing what you're doing. If you would say, like today is November, whatever day it is, I'm not even sure. But
Well, moving forward, we do have on the regular agenda an extension of the fiscal year 2017 maintenance and operation agreement, an extension of 3 months to expire January the 2nd, 2018. We initially thought about doing 6 months, but we don't want to prolong and
That's
drag
right,
this.
yeah.
So from this standpoint, what we want to do is that as soon as you give us the go to move forward with this exploratory committee, we'll be able to move forward. We'll start having meetings. And it's a little bit tight because of the holidays, but there's commitment from our board and from the other U.S. commissioners to make this happen. If it doesn't and we need 1 extra month or something, we'll come back. But the idea is that first commission meeting in January, we come back with a
just
proposal.
a little progress report would be
Yes,
fine.
that too.
Again, because we've got a lot of different committees going right now, and, you know.
It might get tight, but
It's good, even if it's just bullet points, saying, here's what we did, here's your committee, here's the direction, and, you know, when's our next meeting? That would be great.
definitely, we'll keep you
Okay.
updated. And the idea is to move forward and not keep it shelved and make this happen and move the sports park forward.
Good, thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any other questions or anything? So I can read the agenda item.
You can read the agenda item.
Okay. Items for individual consideration. Consideration and action on the direction of the Brownsville Sports Park.
I think, would that be from us? In other words, I would entertain a motion in accordance with the recommendation of the BCIC chair. Okay, go ahead. All those in favor say aye. It's to form the committee and move forward together. Okay, nothing better than a good team.
And that includes looking at the other,
The
Yeah.
other assets.
Yeah, look at all the sports options that we have available, including tennis, golf, and birding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, and so is chess. So, you know.
Also want to nominate the commissioners that will form part of the committee.
Okay, I think as far as nominations, we already have Joel. Joel will be one, and who else wants to volunteer?
I'll volunteer.
Okay, Ben, that appreciate it. This poor guy, we're gonna wear him out before his next birthday. I don't know when it is, but we're gonna wear him out before then.
With me.
So, thank you, Ben. Thank you very much. Okay, so there you go.
Thank you so
You're
much.
off to the races. Oh, did we have a vote? Oh, what do you want? Everything? I'm sorry.
You just appointed us.
Okay, all right, now we have a motion. Yeah, we have a motion and a second. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Did you note down
Yes.
that everybody said yes?
Yes.
Now, so does that adjourn the joint
Yes,
meeting?
at this time, we would need for City Commission to adjourn the meeting and then BCIC.
Okay. All those in favor of adjourning? Aye, everybody. On this side, now it's up to,
And on
who's your vice
BCIC
chair?
to
Vice Chair?
Move to adjourn, Anissa Ramirez.
Second. Graham Sevier Schultz.
All those in
All
favor?
in agreement?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for your time. Thank you, guys.
I apologize, I was late. I was finishing a job.
At this time, we will reconvene for the meeting of the Brownsville City Commission, and we will begin with executive session. I will read the agenda items, so if y'all want to, wait. Yeah, well, I need to read the agenda items first. Okay. Executive session, item 8, consultation with attorney pursuant to the Texas Government Code, Section 551071, regarding pending litigation, and number 2, on the matter in which the duty of the governmental body under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the Texas State Bar clearly conflicts with this chapter. Executive session, item B, consultation with attorney pursuant to the Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, on the matter in which the duty of the attorneys to the governmental body under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with this chapter.
Motion to move to executive session?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
At this time, we will begin the regular meeting with a pledge of allegiance. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
Let's pray. Father God, we thank you for your love, your grace, and your mercy. And Lord, we ask you to change the hearts of this nation. Bring us back to the love of Christ. Help each of us to recognize that every interaction we have may have long-term consequences. And help us to reach out with the healing and the love that each person needs. Lord, we all need your discernment because we don't know what's happening tomorrow, and you do. And Lord, I ask you to give the discernment to our mayor and commissioners here today for the decisions that will be made for the city of Brownsville. Lead and guide each of us in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
We will now have action in executive item A. There is no action required, so we will move on to action executive B. Action is discussed in executive session.
Motion to proceed as advised by council.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Everybody voted aye.
Next item, we have mayor's activity update.
I think because we're closing in on Thanksgiving next week, next Thursday, I want to wish everybody a blessed and fruitful Thanksgiving on behalf of the commission and on behalf of myself. But other than that, that's the extent of my activity report.
Commissioner's activity update.
If I may, I want to bootstrap off the mayor and wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving and remind everybody that back in the day, two groups of very different individuals came together to form a more perfect bond, in words of our founding fathers. So they shared meals, they shared their homes, and I think that's what we are about here in Brownsville. So I wanted to remind everybody to extend a helping hand, a warm hand, especially in this Thanksgiving. We are a community, and we have to be united.
Okay.
I'd like to commend the chief and his staff for taking such quick action on the events that happened over this last weekend.
Very good. Thank you, guys. Presentations?
Next, we have Employee of the Month, Ms. Maria Lourdes Lulu Villanueva, Deputy Court Clerk number 2.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Commission, our Employee of the Month for December 2017 is Maria Lulu Villanueva. She currently works for the municipal court. Lulu started working for the city in 2010, November 2010. It's 7 years ago. She started working under the Safety and Risk Department. 2 years later, in 2012, she moved to municipal court. And she went in from a fiscal tech 1, and now she is classified as a deputy court clerk 2. She's obviously she's an excellent employee. She has excellent customer service skills, has a positive attitude. She's a strong team leader, as she provides guidance to the public as well as fellow court workers when encountering an issue. As an employee of the month, you are entitled to receive a wristwatch. It's yours. Ian. And also an engraved play. You also get 1 day off. Your choice, paid, of course. And you are also qualified to be selected as Employee of the Year next month when we get our awards banquet in December. I congratulate you, and now you're welcome to say a few words to us.
Well, it's been a pleasure. I love working at the municipal court. Judge, I had a pleasure working with you and totally happy, learned a lot from you and continue learning. And we have a wonderful mentor, Mike, that I learn every day from him. And I just enjoy working with all my coworkers.
Thank you,
Thank
Lulu.
you, and
Appreciate
thank you
it.
very much.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next, we have consent agenda item letter A.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, we will begin with the public hearings. Public hearing number 5, public hearing in action on first reading on ordinance number 235-2017-060 to rezone from dwelling A to dwelling H for fractional part of lots 7 through 10, block 60 of West Brownsville Addition located at 305 West 16th Street.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Commissioners. This first case is for a 0.446 acre lot that fronts west 16th Street. They're currently zoned dwelling A, and they would like dwelling H. This is tied with a specific use case following, and they want to put apartments in. This is part of the town corridor in our future land use plan, which is primary residential with an average density of 3 dwellings per unit. Here's an area. As you can see, to the north, east, and south are single-family homes and some apartments. To the west is a PUB water treatment facility and the abandoned railroad. There were 23 mailouts and 0 written opposition for this case. Therefore, and P&Z supports this rezoning from dwelling A to dwelling H.
Okay, anybody here on this issue? You had 23 mail-outs with no written opposition. So I'll entertain a motion to close public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there a motion approved?
Motion to approve?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Public hearing
Next, we
number
have
6.
public hearing number 6, public hearing in action on first reading on ordinance number 235-2017-060-S to allow apartments and apartment use in dwelling H for fractional parts of lots 7 through 10, block 60 of West Brownsville Addition located at 305 West 16th Street.
So this is for the same property. It's just under half an acre again, and they're asking to put apartments in. It's part of the town corridor, which is primarily residential with an average density of 3 dwellings per acre. It's surrounded to the north, east, and south by single-family homes and apartments, and to the west is a PUB water treatment facility and the abandoned railroad. Here is the site plan for it. As you can see, they're proposing 4 different duplexes. There were 23 mailouts and 0 written opposition. PZ supports the specific use permit to allow apartments in dwelling H.
Does that site plan agree with all of our landscaping?
Yes.
ordinances?
Yes, it does. It should accommodate all the parking and landscaping. If not, there is a process where they can go back through and fix it with
I
litter
just see a lot of
hassle.
concrete, that's why I asked.
Yes. No, it's a 10% requirement. It looks like they are providing enough green space and trees.
Where's the green space?
Oops, excuse me. Back here is green area B, green area B, green area B, green area,
Oh, okay.
green area,
And the sidewalk?
green area A. Yes, right here is the sidewalk we require it for all new developments.
Okay, anyone here on this issue? If not, entertain a motion to close public hearing.
Motion to close?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 7.
Public hearing number 7, public hearing and action on first reading on ordinance number 235-2017-063S to allow a mobile vendor food court, a general retail use in General Retail G for a portion of Block 39 and 40, Los Ebanos Property Subdivision, Share 22, Espiritu Santo Grant, located at 835 North Expressway.
This is half an acre. It's located on the feeder road to the North Expressway on the southbound side. We require through ordinance that all mobile vendor parks, which is a food truck park, have a specific use permit. Through this process, there's an interdepartmental review committee that meets and discusses the site plan and makes sure it meets all requirements.
So where, can you explain where that is again?
Yes, so just north, here is Price, West Price, and right here is Los Ebanos. Okay. As you can see, the area surrounding it is general retail as well, and across the expressway is medium industrial. To the rear, there is a single-family subdivision.
Is that near some hotels there on the expressway?
Yes, sir.
Near where Edwards, or what was it, Southern Texas Title Company, is that area?
I'm not sure where. I know this is a hotel, and right here is a hotel. I'm not sure where Edwards is.
Where's
think it's in
Bicycle
that
World?
Toucans around there?
Where's the
Okay.
Bicycle World? Bicycle World and,
I think that's further up.
Yeah, I think this is further toward the Armory, or the National Guard Armory, isn't it?
I'm not sure where that's located.
yeah, it's right next to that Leadership Brownsville thing. The big monument with the flags. Behind it is the Armory.
Oh, okay.
Near there, yeah.
Okay. This property is located within the linkage corridor in our future land use map. This portion is primarily commercial. For residential uses, it should have a density of 6 dwelling units per acre. This is on the expressway, so it's surrounded by hotels to 3 sides as well as retail plazas.
Okay.
And here is the site plan. I believe it's 10 food truck parks. They're also providing additional amenities, landscaping, a bar, live, you can't read it, right here is a live music stage, an ADA bathroom, and there's additional parking that's been cropped out of this, but it does meet all parking requirements.
Okay.
There are 18 mailouts and 0 written opposition. P&Z supports the specific use permit to allow mobile vendor food court in General Retail G.
Okay, there's 18 mailouts and 0 oppositions. Anyone here on this issue? We now entertain a motion to close public hearing.
I'll move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item.
Public hearing number 8, public hearing and action on first reading on ordinance number 235-2017-064 to rezone from dwelling G to professional office G for 0.257 acre in the northerly 4 acres of eastern 28.92 of block 24 of 1.299 acre subdivision of the Brownsville Land and Improvement Company Holdings in Share 28 of the Espiritu Santo Grant located at 55 Austin Road.
This property is 0.257 acres located on Austin Road. They're proposing to have a home office, so they want professional office so they can have a small sign. It's currently zoned dwelling. Across the street and next to it are retail uses. This is also part of the town corridor in our future land use map, which is primarily residential with commercial clusters, with an average residential density of 3 dwellings per acre. To the north is a church, some mobile homes. To the east are single-family dwellings and a restaurant directly next to it in the commercial lot. South are more mobile homes and single-family dwellings, and west are more mobile homes and single-family dwellings. There were 12 mailouts and 0 written opposition for this case, and P&Z supports this rezone from dwelling G to professional office G.
Do you know what the one on the corner is? Is there a business there already?
This one?
Yes.
This is a restaurant.
Okay.
This land is also zoned commercial, but is currently vacant.
Is anyone here on this issue? If now, I'll entertain a motion to close public hearing.
I'll move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 9.
Public hearing number 9, public hearing and action on first reading on ordinance number 235-2017-065-S to allow a used car lot, a light commercial use in retail H for Lot 11, Block 25, East Brownsville, second section located at 1864 Southmost Road.
This property is 0.1446 acres. It's fronting Southmost Road, and the proposed use is a used car lot, which is a 5C use. It currently has general retail, which is 4C. Although all along Southmost there are specific use allowing used car lots, including a few properties over. This is part of the town corridor in our future land use map, which is primarily residential with small clusters of commercial use. To the north, there are a variety of commercial businesses as well as a few single-family dwellings. To the east, there are used car lots through a specific use and some other businesses as well as single-family dwellings. To the south are single-family dwellings, and to the west are more commercial businesses. Here is a picture of the site plan. Most of this is currently existing. It's operating as a public garage. They're wanting to expand their business to be able to sell a few used cars. There were 28 mailouts and 0 written opposition. P&Z supports the specific use permit to allow used car lot in general retail H.
Anyone here on this issue? Now, I'll entertain a motion to close public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion approved. Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item.
Public hearing number 10, public hearing and action on first reading on ordinance number 235-2017-066 to rezone from dwelling A to dwelling G for Lot 29, Block 13, Garden Park subdivision located at 165 Center Drive.
This is currently zoned dwelling A. It's a 0.223 acre property. It's in a single-family area that has a few general retail locations, as well as the yellow is dwelling retail. They are wanting to change the area district. This is part of both the Loop Corridor and the Core West District. The Loop Corridor is mostly commercial, and the Core West is mostly residential. For the residential use of the Core West, it should be about 4 dwelling units per acre. It's surrounded on all sides by single-family dwellings, and to the west is also a church. There were 27 mailouts and 0 written opposition. The Planning and Zoning Commission supports this rezone from dwelling A to dwelling G.
Anyone here on this issue? If now, I'll entertain a motion to close public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item.
Public hearing number 11, public hearing and action on first reading on ordinance number 235-2017-067-S to allow used car lot, a light commercial use in retail G for the front half of Lot 3, Block 37 of East Brownsville 5th Section located at 2325 South Most Road.
This property is .0836 acres. It is currently zoned general retail. Across the street, catty corner, is light commercial, which is what they're seeking. The proposed use is a used car lot. This is part of the town corridor, which is primarily residential with small clusters of commercial land. The residences should have an average density of 3 dwellings per acre. To the north of this property are single-family homes, as well as a public school. To the east are more homes and businesses. To the south are more homes, used car lot, and other businesses. And to the west are commercial businesses, homes, and a church. Here is the site plan. This used to operate as a used car lot, so pretty much everything is already existing in the site plan. There were 21 mailouts and 0 written opposition. The Planning and Zoning Commission supports the specific use permit to allow a used car lot in general retail G.
Anyone here on this issue? Now I'll entertain a motion to close public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 12.
Public hearing number 12, public hearing and action on first reading on ordinance number 235-2017-068 to rezone from light commercial F to dwelling G for 30.15 acres being all of block 131 and El Jardín subdivision. Shares 19 and 27, Espiritu Santo grant located at 4820 Salida de la Luna.
This is a 30.15 acre property near Central Avenue. They're currently going through the platting process to make it a single-family subdivision with about 162 lots. It's currently zoned light commercial 5C, and they're seeking dwelling G. This is part of the Transition Central District. Commercial uses should be neighborhood and service-oriented, and the residential use should have an average density of 2 dwelling units per acre in this area. To the north, there are single-family homes. To the east is vacant land and an elementary school. To the south is more vacant land and commercial businesses. To the west are commercial businesses and a few single-family homes. There were 29 mailouts and 0 written opposition in this case. The Planning and Zoning Commission supports this rezone from light commercial F to dwelling G.
Motion to close public hearing.
Is there anybody here on this issue? No, entertain a motion
To close?
Close public hearing.
Okay. there's-
Second.
Motion to close public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 13.
Public hearing number 13, public hearing and action on first reading on ordinance number 235-2017-069 to rezone from dwelling G to light commercial H for 1.928 acres of block 49 of the Brownell Tract in El Jardín subdivision, share 28, Espiritu Santo grant located at 5575 FM 802.
This is a 1.92 acre property that's located on FM 802. The proposed use is for electrical warehouse. The site currently has a warehouse, and this will make it conforming. As you can see, to the north is commercial land as well as a single-family subdivision. This is along 802, so there is a lot of commercial development. Across the way, there are general retail 4C. This is part of the town corridor, which is primarily residential with small groups of commercial uses. To the north, there is single-family homes and vacant land. To the east is a public school. To the south is a retail plaza and some more single-family homes. To the west is vacant land, a plaza, and some single-family homes. There were 25 mailouts and 0 written opposition. P&Z supports this rezone from dwelling G to light commercial H.
Okay. Anyone here on this issue? Now entertain a motion to close public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 14.
Public hearing number 14, public hearing and action on first reading on ordinance number 235-2017-069S to allow an outdoor conduit pipe storage, a medium industrial use in light commercial H for 1.928 acres out of Block 49 of the Brownwell Tract in El Jardín subdivision, Share 28, Espiritu Santo grant located at 5575 FM 802.
So this is for the same property from the previous case. They're looking to get a specific use to allow outdoor pipe conduit storage. There will be a site plan at the end of this, so you can take a look. It is along 802, so there is commercial businesses throughout. It's part of the town corridor, which has clusters of commercial land use. On 3 sides, there are single-family homes and commercial businesses, and to the east, there is a public school. Here is the site plan. As you can see, in the center, there is the existing warehouse, and they're proposing some increase in green space. And there is, right here is the storage yard that they're requiring for their business. There were 25 mailouts and 0 written opposition. So P&Z supports a specific use permit to allow an outdoor conduit pipe storage in light commercial H.
Okay. Anyone here on this issue? We now entertain a motion to close public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second?
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Can I ask a question? This is not about, but in your map, was the green space?
Yes.
I like that. I mean, it makes it clearer that, like on the other picture, you couldn't tell unless you knew how to read the map. Maybe you could consider that in the future.
Okay.
To make it very visible.
This was submitted by the designer like this.
Oh.
I believe the client actually asked for the green space to be emphasized.
Get that same designer. I'm just
I
kidding.
like that. I like that distinction. For us up here, we can't read the fine print.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 15.
Public hearing number 15, public hearing and action on first reading on ordinance number 235-2017-070 to rezone from general retail H to general retail J for lot 11, block 37, original town site located at 835 East St. Charles Street.
This property is 0.1377 acres located on East St. Charles. This is tied with a specific use, which is the next case. In this case, they're asking to rezone their area district from H to J. As you can see, they and most of downtown is general retail 4C. This is part of the downtown node in our future land use plan. This district is mostly commercial, but residential and community facilities are also present. The residential uses should have a density of 21 dwellings per acre. So this is downtown. So to the north, there are commercial buildings as well as government offices. To the east are commercial businesses, including a grocery store. To the south are single-family homes and parking lots. And to the west are group quarters, businesses, and single-family homes.
Now, so they want to make a business there?
They want to make apartments.
Now,
Is that 34, the high-rise there, where it says 34, block 34?
Right here? Yes, that is the high-rise.
which one's the high-rise?
I guess I'm looking at, sorry, I didn't tell you what I was looking at. On this map,
Oh.
this up here,
Yeah, I'm trying to-
this would be,
Which item is this one, 16? I'm trying to find it
Yes.
on this.
So this is the high-rise. Yes, and this should be City Plaza.
34 city, or,
This is the high-rise.
yeah, okay. Yeah. They want to do apartments there?
Yes, it's currently a vacant lot.
What the hell? more density downtown.
Now, is there parking?
Here, I'll
Let me
skip
tell
ahead so you
you,
can see this.
I live in front of something that it was approved. I think I abstained, and let me tell you that with the Alonso building, there's no parking. And that high-rise, they have a parking lot that I think belongs, I don't even know who it belongs to, but I don't think it's even up to code behind St. Charles. And so the question is, well, I mean, I just want to make sure that they have parking because it's getting really bad sometimes on St. Charles.
Well, this is the site plan.
I
So
know
currently, it's used for a lot of parking, so it wouldn't be considered adding a new parking lot. It would accommodate the required parking for the 4 units.
It's only 4 units.
It's only 4
Okay.
units.
Are they single?
I think they're actually a 2-bedroom, 1 bath is the proposed.
So you would need eight or 4?
It's 4 units, within each unit has 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. So actually, what they're proposing to do is, right here on the corner, there is a historic building. So in the long run, the same gentleman owns both. So he would like to restore this building as a second phase in this project.
That's the two that are right close to each other. One of them's blocking the view of the other one, right, I think?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, this one is dilapidated, and this is an active apartment. So there were 27 mailouts for this case and 0 written opposition. The Planning and Zoning Commission supports this rezone from General Retail H to General Retail J.
What's the radius that you send them out?
200 feet.
Is anyone here on this issue? Are you within 200 feet, Cecil?
I don't think so, Mayor, but I'm actually checking because I've heard
No,
people come and
I know
complain
what you're doing.
that they're not getting the mailers. So I'm like, well, I don't know if I'm within the 200 feet, but just to prove that, you know, when people come, it's like, I want to make sure that they're actually getting the mailers because
Yeah,
we've
no.
heard it before.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to close.
I will
public-
entertain the motion to close public comment.
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion
And-
carries.
Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
We need more density downtown,
Yeah, no, good.
more housing.
Motion carries. Item number 16.
Public hearing number 16, public hearing and action on first reading on ordinance number 235-2017-070-S to allow apartments and apartment use in General Retail J for Lot 11, Block 37, Original Town Site located at 835 East St. Charles Street.
So this is the same property. They're wanting to put in the 4 apartments. It's part of the downtown node, which is commercial with residential and community facilities. Here's an aerial once again. There are government buildings, commercial buildings, and a few single-family homes surrounding it. Here's the site plan. There were 27 mailouts and 0 written opposition. So Planning and Zoning Commission supports a specific use permit to allow apartments in General Retail J.
Again, no one here on this one? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion for public hearing to close.
Motion to close public hearing.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 17.
Public hearing number 17, public hearing and action on first reading on ordinance number 235-2017-071 to rezone from dwelling Z to medium retail G for a 0.788 acre portion of Lot 9, Block 110 of El Jardín re-subdivision Tract A located at 848 North Minnesota Avenue.
So this is a 0.788 parcel that's located on the corner of Minnesota and Paso Real Drive. This is on the edge of our city limits. It's currently zoned dwelling Z, and they're asking for medium retail 3C. The proposed use is a drive-through convenience store. There's also a specific use permit that's tied to this where they're requesting 5C for a car wash. Okay. Most of the area is dwelling Z. However, across Minnesota, they did change to general retail and medium retail. This is also part of the town corridor in our future land use plan map. This corridor should be primarily residential with small clusters of commercial businesses. To the north are single-family homes and businesses. To the east are apartments, and then outside of city limits, there in our ETJ, there are single-family homes. To the south, there are single-family homes and apartments. To the west, there are more homes, as well as a public garage. There were 23 mailouts on this case and 0 written opposition. The Planning and Zoning Commission supports this rezone from dwelling Z to medium retail G.
Anyone here on this issue? If not, I'll entertain a motion to close public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I'll
Motion.
move to approve.
All second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 18.
Public hearing number 18, public hearing and action on first reading on ordinance number 235-2017-071-S to allow a car wash, a light commercial use in medium retail G for a 0.788 acre portion of Lot 9, Block 110 of El Jardín, re-subdivision Track A located at 848 North Minnesota Avenue.
So this is for the same 0.788 portion. Once again, they are requesting a specific use to allow a car wash, which is a light commercial use. It is part of the town corridor, which should have clusters of commercial uses. It is surrounded by single-family homes, apartments, and some commercial businesses. Here's the site plan. The portion is this side that they are requesting a specific use for. There were 23 mailouts and 0 written opposition. The Planning and Zoning Commission supports a specific use permit to allow a car wash in medium retail G.
Okay, anyone here on this issue? Now I'll entertain a motion to close public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I'll move to approve.
All second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 19.
Public hearing number 19, public hearing and action on first reading on ordinance number 235-2017-072 to rezone from dwelling Z to light commercial Z for 19.12 acres of Block 46 of Grove Subdivision Number 1 located at 7092 Old Alice Road.
This 19.12 acre tract is currently zoned dwelling Z, and the county is asking for a light commercial 5CZ. The proposed use are a few offices as well as vehicle maintenance facilities. Surrounding it is dwelling Z as well as some commercial uses, including light commercial and general retail. This is part of the town corridor and employment hub in our future land use plan. The town corridor should be mostly residential with some commercial uses, and the employment hub should be a mix of several uses, including industrial uses.
Is this on the area, is that the jail and
Yes.
and the sheriff's department, right? So
Yes.
It's pretty close by there.
It's on the same area. I believe right here and right here are the facilities. So to the east and to the south are vacant lots, and to the west there are vacant lots, as well as a single-family subdivision. To the north there are those government facilities, as well as more vacant lots. So there are 8 mailouts and 0 written opposition for this case. The Planning and Zoning Commission supports this rezone from dwelling Z to light commercial Z.
Okay. Anyone here on this issue? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion to close.
I'll move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I'll move to approve.
All second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Item number 20.
Public hearing number 20, public hearing and action on first reading on ordinance number 235-2017-902 to rezone from dwelling Z to dwelling G for all lots in Block 1 through 6 of Villa del Norte subdivision exclusive of Reserve A and Reserve B located near Old Dallas Road.
So this is a city-initiated case. It is covering 239 single-family lots near Old Alice Road. It's currently zoned Dwelling Z, and we're proposing to change it to Dwelling G. And that is to reduce some of the restrictions, including the setbacks. As you can see, most of the area is either Dwelling Z or Dwelling G, and there is also some light retail on the other side of Old Alice.
Can you orient us, please, exactly where on Old Alice?
Yes. Here is the expressway, and here is the sports park.
Okay.
Okay. So this subdivision is part of the town corridor and the emerging city central district in our future land use plan. The town corridor should be mostly residential with an average density of 3 dwelling units per acre. The emerging city center district is mostly residential as well and should have the average density of 1 home per acre. So to the north, there are vacant lots as well as the sports park. To the east are more vacant lots and single-family homes. To the south, there's also vacant lots and single-family homes. And to the west, there are more single-family homes, commercial businesses, and vacant lots. There were 249 mailouts. We noticed every property owner within the subdivision, and there was 0 written opposition. The Planning and Zoning Commission supports this rezone from Dwelling Z to Dwelling G.
So, can I ask a question, or is it
Sure.
public? So what did you say it was going to alleviate?
It's going to reduce the setbacks.
Which means?
When this, instead of being able to build 30 feet from the front of their lot, it can be reduced to 25.
And why is that important in this case? You said this was city initiated.
Yes, when this subdivision was created, it was not part of the city. When it was annexed, the automatic zoning is Dwelling Z at that time. Because the setbacks were different, the homes don't align and the lots don't fit as well with the Dwelling Z setbacks.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, anyone here on this issue? Now entertain a motion to close public hearing.
Motion to
move.
close.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Public comment?
At this time, we didn't have anyone that signed up for the public comment period.
Thank
So we'll move on to the next one. It's items for individual consideration. Action item number 22, consideration and action to award funds to the Brownsville Historical Association not to exceed $75,000 to improve the vacate of the San Fernando building under the existing memorandum of understanding among the City of Brownsville and BHA regarding the preservation of historic structures.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the Commission. Today, this item is for your consideration to award the funds to the BHA to be able to improve the facade of the San Fernando building. The scope of work will entail a fresh coat of paint, and the restoration of 11 doors, my apologies, and also some emergency procedures to be able to stabilize the roof while we allocate funds for a redo.
Okay. This is an action item. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item number 23.
Action item number 23, consideration and action on the extension of the fiscal year 2017 Sports Park Maintenance Operations Agreement between the City of Brownsville and Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation.
Hello, Mayor,
Hello,
Commissioners
Rebecca.
again. This is in reference to follow up to the item that we had earlier during the joint meeting, and it's asking for an extension of the fiscal year 2017 Maintenance and Operation Agreement for it to expire January the 2nd, 2018, with an allocation for fiscal year capturing the allocation of $700,000 instead of $750 that was for fiscal year 2017. This will continue the operation and maintenance of the sports park. Meanwhile, the committee that has been recently formed will be able to capture and explore the options in moving forward with the sports park.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Who's going to do the adjournment today?
Well, we're missing Commissioner Longoria, so I'll do the honors of
Okay.
moving to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.